Greetings, community, and welcome to NCBD Comics and another edition of Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, 5/21/2025. It's great to be here. It's great to be alive, and I appreciate all that has cruised on through. And I noticed a couple clicks up there, and I also noticed a couple of people have just joined. So I appreciate those that have cruised on through, recently subscribed. Appreciate it. And yeah, those who cruise on the live, let's take a moment and say hi. Say, Christina, how you doing? Hope all is well with you. Appreciate you cruising on through and dancing with me on the live, so people can see what we're doing. All right, well, let's start off cruising on and talking about Marvel Amazing Spider-Man issue number 4. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 4. This journey has been actually really pretty cool. I have to admit, I'm a little behind on issue number 3. But I like what's been, set up so far. Issue number 1 and 2 is a good setup for what I think is going to be a pretty good series. I'm enjoying myself, and I hope you are too. And Amazing Spider-Man is ranking pretty high for me. And issue number 4 is coming out to me and you on 5/21/2025. Let's cruise out from that and talk about Doom Mechanic issue number 4. Yeah, it's one of those 4 type of days. I know it's not quite Strange Academy, but it's the best that we're going to get. No, it doesn't seem like Scotty Young's going to return anytime soon to go ahead and write the series. However, we're going to get what we're going to get, right? And appreciate what we can get. And that's what Doom Academy is. As far as tying into the main story, yes, it's doing a pretty good job so far as supporting and the best that it can as a tie-in to the main story of the whole Doom, One World on the Doom title. I'm enjoying this, and I really think it's going to end up well. As far as my opinion, how it's written so far, it's not pointing to any clear conclusion on how it's going to end. I'm not quite certain the overall agenda outside the obvious, which is Doom seems like he just wants to take over everything. I don't know. I'm not trying to be overactive and trying to figure out exactly what's going to end up happening on each individual issue. At the same point, I have been able to be rather taken back and it still remain an enigma exactly what's going to end up happening each successive issue after I read, because of it's not pointing to any one thing, and all the other successive titles, Doom Academy, that have been supporting it, it's just been pointing in different directions. So I really have been enjoying not only the main title, but the supporting title, which I'm talking about now, Doom Academy issue number 4. As far as an Academy story, meaning Strange Academy, and tying into the main Doom title, I think it's doing rather well. Just saying. Moving out from Doom Academy, issue number 4, let's talk about Incredible Hulk, issue number 25. There's a couple covers out there that look rather interesting. I'm going to try to end up getting not only the whole gambit, but what I see that it just seems like there's something actually coming to a head at this with, what was that, the Ancient One or something? No, it's the old. Anyways, this old demon thing is after them again. Charlie's having an issue with her suit. It got stolen once, and then she's reconciling that problem, that difference, and still contending with understanding what's going on with it, and how to manage it. At the same point, I think it's more of a curse than it is anything else. I think she's come to learn too. And Hulk is also dealing with, well, the fact that, Banner kind of came back and there's a whole new scenario with situation going on with that whole scenario. So, yeah, this is getting rather complex on how Incredible Hulk is developing. It has turned into one of my more favorite titles coming out of Marvel, and I just been enjoying the journey so far. So, an Incredible Hulk, issue number 25. It's going to be a rather big one, and it's coming out to you and me on 5/21/2025. Let's cruise over to talk about Amazing Spider-Man and the Wolverine, issue number 1. This is I believe, ongoing series that should be coming out. Mark, I'm going to butcher his name, Guggenheim, sorry, is writing on this, and he's, like I said, my understanding is he's heading up for an ongoing series. This is just basically an introduction of what's supposed to transpire. I'm going to end up hopefully seeing him this weekend, and hopefully I'll have a better understanding then. Not only how to correctly pronounce his name, but have a better understanding what's supposed to be happening, at least for the next 2-3 issues. I'm just curious. I just want to know. I want no spoilers, but I just kind of want to know what the overall setup. How long is this series supposed to be, and what what should I expect? Just saying. So Spider-Man and Wolverine issue number 1 coming out 5/21, 2025. Last title out of Marvel we're going to speak about is Ultimate issue number 12. I can't believe we're already at issue number 12. This series has been rather, I think it took everyone by surprise. And one, how good it was going to be. And two, really how it is actually slowly building momentum. It seems like this inertia is gathering behind not only this story, but the stories supporting it in this whole Ultimates universe. And when we're coming to this end, which I think if my time's right is in November, I think there's going to be a shitstorm. It just seems that way. It's getting so good. Ultimates is actually explaining a lot what's going on, not only in the supporting titles, but what's really happening and what we're coming to expect as far as what these titles are ultimately supposed to be doing in this Ultimates universe. As far as, because of the main title, what I'm talking about now is the Ultimates. And that's not only kind of explaining what the whole this I guess agenda is, but what the supporting titles to that agenda and how their functionality and what their overall, like back to the idea of agenda is, what their tactics and what the reasoning is and what the ultimate, behind outside of the obvious of these Reed Richards, these my brain went away, Maker Council, the makers being released at this November time, we're going to end up just again wreaking havoc. So we're slowly trying to flesh out these, not only the roles of everyone that's in this universe and how they're supposed to now, and as far as the Ultimates are concerned, what the roles are supposed to be in this universe when the console's released. I guess I've been long-winded in this because I've been enjoying it so much. I just can't get enough, and it's actually just missed out on being my Blue Light special. Seriously, this has been really cool. But another one I just missed out, and moving out from Marvel, is DC. On this DC title, I've been having a great time. In DC by Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 3, is such a wonderful story. It really is. Not a huge, Sonic fan. I never really played the game that well. Not only did I not play it that well, but it never really resonated with me. It was more my son and my younger brother. I just like watching it. And now that they tie it into a DC universe, the fun I'm having between the banter of Flash and all the other characters in there and how well they jive. And yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm a sucker for crossovers, as most people know, but when it's written this well, I can't help but have this much fun. Just saying. So yeah, DC and Sonic the Hedgehog issue number 3 coming out tomorrow. Also, just missed out on my being my Blue Light special. It was almost a coin flip between these 3, if that makes sense. Moving out from DC, and let's cruise over to Image, and they're going to give us our last 3 titles, starting off with Bug Wars issue number 4. As I said before, it is a 4 kind of a day. Yeah. Bug Wars first started out, and this was one of those titles initially I was going to get, as well as it was being received, as much it was being pushed on by the people at my local shop. I couldn't help it. Jason Aaron tends to end up writing titles that I thoroughly enjoy. It's most difficult to actually, one, say no to a title, and 2, especially to a writer that I like reading. So yeah, Bug Wars ended up just kind of falling in my lap and ended up being a title that I now am pulling. I think it's, if I recall correctly, it's a 6-issue miniseries, and it's a story that is with a kid that lost his father. Kind of want to follow in his father's footsteps. He has a brother that's not quite dealing with the death of his father quite well. It's a story I not only recommend, but between the interaction between the creatures that are in the story and how they reflect in an environmental speaking type way, in a magical way, and how these characters are interacting with one another in the real world, which is to them in their real world, is rather fascinating and really enjoyable, because it really does offer a lot of human elements that you can actually see in a lot of conversations today when it comes to people dealing with tragedy and trauma in their in the immediate family. So it's not only been an enjoyable story just because of the characters that are in the story and how well it's written, but also because how, I guess, seemingly poignant it is to, if you can identify with some of the circumstances that I've written inside the story. If you have talked to Jason Aaron, you kind of know some of the things that have gone in his life, that you understand that many a times that he will write personal experiences into these stories. And when you know some of these experiences and you end up reading them when they happen to the characters inside these stories, it starts painting not only a realistic view of what's transpiring in the story, but one that actually transpired to the one writing. And that just serves as something a little more meaningful and deep. And that's another reason why I really have been enjoying the story. Is just it's both wonderful as far as to read, and sometimes amazing how it's not only written, but how personal it seems for something so fantastically written as far as in a fantasy world like this. I've been enjoying it. I can't wait to get my hands on issue number 4. And again, yeah, this one just missed out. It did. It really did. All right, second to last, getting to this one is G.I. Joe, Yo Joe, issue number 7. This has been most awesome. Here we are, post the whole new Energon universe 2.0, I guess. And I can't wait to get my hands on it. Here we are. It's not a reboot. It's not anything like that. What we are is we are in a 2.0. This is another, the next level of K-M.A.R.T, Energon universe, and I can't wait to get into it. Between I know what's happened already in the Energon universe as far as on Free Comic Book Day, and what I know is supposed to happen with the Transformer stuff, so you have to read. And here we are with G.I. Joe. Yeah, this freaking universe, man. Outside of the Ghost Machine universe, this one has me the most excited. This is probably the best universe, 2 universes developed in the past, my opinion, 2 years. And it's just been further developing incredibly well. However, what it failed to do is meet my blue light special, and that is, pardon me, Red Coat. Issue number 12 is back. Red Coat. Yeah! I ended up talking to Jeff Johns a few weeks ago, and he hit me up on a question that he really wanted to know, sincerely. It was, what is your favorite title out of the Ghost Machine universe? Well, I said that was really difficult to say because for me, which was an obvious answer, it's kind of on a tier level. If I like this at that level and that at that level and that, but I knew he was looking for a definitive answer. So I said, yes, I like them all. Yes, they're all at different levels. However, Geiger is my favorite. And I would have to say that as much as I enjoyed Junkyard Joe, and if it was an ongoing series, it would probably be my second. Red Coat is my third, quickly followed by High Street. However, Red Coat, because of how it talks about significant time periods of the past, much like the way Philadelphia did, and it ties it into this fictional world that I'm presently reading on the development of this character, Pure, which is our mainstay character in these stories. He comes across so many stories that we see, like I said, that were so significant in our history, and how he ends up reshaping not only how we've come to know these characters in history and how it is initially written in a whole new light, and that is tailored for these books, which is so freaking awesome. We've yet to hit the 1900, and all I can say is for the 2 stories that he told me that are being developed, well, the obvious one, as everyone knows, is Geiger. But what most people didn't know, and probably still don't, other than if you read seeing this, is Red Coat. It is actually going into production according to what Jeff Johns had told me. So it just not only made my heart kind of really jump out of my chest at the 2 stories in which that meant most to me out of the Ghost Machine universe presently, were the two ones that are actually being developed, two things happened. I grimmed huge, and I quickly went to about 5 other shops to see if I can find any more issues of issue number 1, a red coat. So, hey, I mean, I don't know about you, but I do appreciate everyone cruising through. For those that are cruising on live, I appreciate you, Christina, Perry, anyone else that have maybe been here and I may not have seen. I appreciate you greatly. And if those of you that are cruise on through on the rewind, I appreciate you too. And yeah, that's it for me. Entropy. You stay well. Take care.